All right, how y'all doing? Good morning. Welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. Okay, so I'm tired. I'm out of breath. I'm 8 months pregnant, and I'm gonna do this review as is with my pajamas on because I'm already a week behind. Late as hell because the new one's coming out tomorrow, and I don't know if I have the energy to do it. Now we get into Love and Hip Hop Family Reunion Season 2, Episode 3. This one is the one where Safari's ass shows up. They call it the They Found Love in a Hopeless Place. I don't even know why they titled that shit that, but they started off there. And by the way, Happy New Year's to everybody. Welcome to 2022. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate Christmas. Now, this is my first review for 2022, so hope to God you guys like it. Now, if I'm out of breath or I'm talking too fast, excuse me. Shortness of breath is a side effect of as big as I am right now, okay? I can't breathe, and I'm trying to get through this as soon, as quickly as possible so you guys can have fun and go do whatever the hell it is you want to do for the rest of the day. So Safari shows up to this field day that Booby planned, and he basically shows up excited and happy and acting like everything in his life is all Gucci, ain't nothing wrong, and he shows up there like he's about to be the life of the party as usual. So we look in the corner and Erica's already looking some type of way like, I'm about to see this man that's been pissing me off, putting me through all this shit, and he's showing up here smiling like everything's all kumbaya between us. But as everybody's playing the game, everybody's trying to finish up to the teams. You got purple team, orange, yellow, and blue. All of them cheating as they're running down the beach, faking whatever the hell they want to fake just to try to win that little contest they're doing. And then Safari, after it's done, takes Mimi to the side and he's talking to her. And of course, he's talking about him and Erica's situation. The problem I have with Safari is Safari has a tendency to always he's one of those people that behaves like a child. If y'all haven't noticed, he behaves like a child. It's like when you're telling this man, listen, when you did this, it hurt my feelings. And instead of the man acknowledging where he went wrong, he now tries to deflect and says, well, you did this to me. Or, well, this is what you did to me. The problem I'm having with Safari is he doesn't get the concept of, not that Erica's ass is innocent. Don't get me wrong. Erica does some grimy ass shit. I mean, she cheated on Rich. Rich cheated on her. Then she cheated on Rich with Sin. Sin did deserve to get cheated on. And she put her hands on Sin. Then she ended up with Bow Wow. Bow Wow beat her ass. She was engaged to him and she actually cheated on Sin with Bow Wow. And it was just a mess. So I don't see her as the epitome of a glorious woman. However, Safari didn't marry her. Safari did say he wanted family. Safari said he wanted kids. And when you get pregnant, it's a completely different situation. You have to carry this kid for almost a fucking year. Okay. And if y'all have never been pregnant, some of you that don't know what it's like. The first trimester is horrible. You're throwing up, you're nauseated, the type of fatigue you feel. I was in bed most of the time. I couldn't even, if I get up to go and take a shower, I'm tired already. I have to get my ass back up into bed. Then you get to the second trimester. If you don't have gestational diabetes like I did, you might be okay. But I had diabetes. So eventually I had to start giving myself injections of insulin and shit like that. It's a lot. You get to the third trimester, you're growing, you're big as hell. You want somebody around you who knocked you up to be supportive and patient with you with everything that you're going through. Now, after she drops the baby and gets through the whole, few months of postpartum, then y'all can fight. But Safari was acting like a whole fucking fool and acting like he was the victim. Not really. You get to walk around with your body the same as it was when you were born. She has a whole other human being and you want to cry. So when Safari does this self-pity thing, I don't empathize with his plight. But Mimi gave him some good advice. And Mimi advised him to learn to come back from the disrespect because Safari felt like he was disrespected by Amina because of the shit that was going on in social media. And Erica herself felt like Safari was disrespecting her by going to the club and having bitches gyrate on his ass, give him dry humping sessions in a club while she's at home fat as hell waiting for this baby to come out her body. So she's trying to tell him, work on getting over the disrespect and work on being a better version of yourself and try to talk to her because obviously you're open to it because she's your wife and you still love her to try and fix it. But as Mimi's talking about it, she uses Stevie J as an example. Bitch, Stevie was a hot ass mess. She said, unlike my relationship, Stevie wasn't trying. Stevie will forever be on her shit list in her mind. And he is always forever on my shit list. Shit. And he didn't even do that half the shit with me. That Jocelyn, Mimi, Stevie J triangle that went on for years on hip hop that he thought was funny. He kept calling himself the good guy when we knew that you weren't even seeing your daughter like that or helping take care of her. And Mimi's had your back this whole time. You had Jocelyn make Mimi look like a dumbass. You had Jocelyn and Mimi fighting over your ass. Stevie will forever be on my shit list. And Mimi, I don't think Safari has gone to the Stevie J level yet of creep, But he's getting up there. Then we have Amina now talking to us about her potential divorce party that's coming up that she's trying to have with Peter. And then in addition to that, Safari now decides that it is his turn to go and talk to Erica, right? But then when he's talking to Erica, Erica's already on the defensive, you know, because what he doesn't know is that she just talked to Bobby last episode about him trying to fuck some bitch that came to the club that Bobby brought on his birthday party or whatever. So Erica's already in the defense. Safari's already in the defense, and Safari doesn't seem like the guy who's strong enough to handle Erica's mouth. So when he's trying to talk to her and she's being usual Erica, I'm going to say something rude because I want you to feel the type of pain I'm feeling. He's ready to bow out. He doesn't even want to make an effort. He wants to go away. So he basically walks away when she starts talking about how we should just discuss co-parenting, how we should just, you know, kind of live with that instead of actually worrying about other stuff for like us trying to get back together. Let's just worry about the kids. It seems like Safari was going towards the direction of saying, let's maybe try to fix it. And she just cut it off and said co-parenting. He didn't want to hear it. So he left her ass on the beach and walked away. The next time we get to Amina and Cisco talking, right? So the problem with Amina is Amina's messy as shit. Amina had her ass out doing a splits with her coochie out and her ass crack out right in front of Cisco's hotel room. And we know that Rich already disclosed to Peter that Amina spent the night at Cisco's house. And he's a man. I mean, Cisco's like, Amina's beautiful. She got her ass in my face. I'm gonna give her what she wants. I'm gonna, you know, enjoy the show. Amina is now telling us that they made out, but it's not a big deal. And her and Cisco are talking and she's taking no responsibility for anything. Talking about, it's not my fault y'all are friends. Amina is playing the same aloof, dumbass behavior that she played when she was fucking around with Peter when Peter was still with Tara. She went on marriage boot camp and said, you tell me that you were just living there for the sake of the kids. You didn't tell me that you and Tara, who were living together with 2 kids, are still fucking. So I just thought that it was okay for you to be with me. You knew that Cisco was friends with Rich and friends with Peter. You knew that they have the creep squad thing going on long before your ass came along. You knew all of this shit. And when Peter was messing around with other girls, playing you like a fucking fool, you knew that the only way to piss him off was to get one of his boys to try and have sex with you. So you got drunk with your friend, went over to his house, made out with him, did enough to where you severed their friendship. And now you're sitting up here saying that you had no responsibility in any of that. You and your little free ass definitely have responsibility. Yeah, I know how Peter can play your ass because you do stupid petty ass shit. So Cisco's talking to her, and of course Rich is completely involved in their drama. He's like, you know, if Cisco would just leave Amina alone. I'm like, bitch, did you not see Amina walk up to him? Why are they all putting all this on Cisco? Amina has a huge responsibility to take in this because she did that shit on purpose, okay? That's just what it is. Then we have Safari, Erica, and Mimi talking about the pool. And Erica's now deciding that she's going to now disclose the conversation that her and Bobby had with the girl that she knew wanted to have sex with Safari, and Safari was flirting whatever with at his birthday party that she found out about and had her friend go and fuck him up for. So as she's talking about it, Safari instantly is like, where are you going with this? What's the, you know, what's the conclusion? What are you going with this? And you know, Erica basically unleashes talking about, you were doing all this shit, having all these females. And Safari gives the excuse that every ignorant person gives. You filed for divorce. He said you didn't want nothing to do with me because my husband stood here and was like, well, she filed for divorce, you know, so it's cool. And I had to basically talk to my husband like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. For a woman to file for divorce when they are pregnant, they're trying to get your attention because it seems like that's the only way they can get your attention because everything else they've tried, they've exhausted. But if you're still legally married to me, you're still coming home to our house, you're still talking to me about us trying to be together, we're still fighting. You don't have a right to now say that the paperwork I filed is enough for you to go and fuck around. Why don't you sign it first and then go and do what you did? You were being petty and you were trying to get back at me. You thought you could do one up me like a child, and you went out there, and while I was sitting up here pregnant with your child, when you knew I had to be in the best mental state, you decided to behave like that, and you want to sit up here and use that as an excuse to justify your conscience, bitch. Safari is a fucking child and he behaves like a child. And Erica, I don't know why you married him. When I'm just looking, it's like I'm looking at a teenager talk whenever Safari opens his fucking mouth. He doesn't sound like somebody who's grown. So they're talking about this, and of course, Safari doesn't like hearing that. Erica's saying, you know what, fuck you, fuck off, whatever. Rich dumbass is in the corner talking about, you know, this relationship was doomed in the beginning because Safari was raised by women, basically his mother, his sisters. He wasn't surrounded by a strong male role model. And so he's not used to strong-minded women like Erica, who's raised by the Bronx and will use her word to cut you down to the white meat. So as soon as her mouth starts going, he takes it as a threat. You know, he takes the yelling as a threat, like somebody's trying to attack him. Well, ain't nobody putting their hands on you yet. And he decides to leave the situation. So Rich is like, he can't handle somebody like Erica. I can handle her shit. I can't wait for y'all break up so she can come back to me. Should I miss that ass? Rich is full of drama. He's funny as shit, but he's full of drama as hell. He loves that drama. He's either in somebody else's drama with Cisco, Peter, and Amina, or he's trying to involve himself in what the hell was going on with Erica and Safari. And as they're talking about it, Erica breaks down in tears now that Safari has walked away because she's tired of yelling. She's in pain. She says, I'm 2 months postpartum. I'm kind of going through this. I'm looking at the fact that my family's breaking apart. I'm having to be a single parent. This is not the ideal life that I wanted in the first place, even though I did some fucked up shit in the past. I wanted a family of my own, so it is what it is. Now, at the corner, we got Marcus, who cheated on Brooke multiple times in the show, had an open relationship, had the little freaking, was it a legal paralegal, whatever the girl thing. Then you had the condom situation. Then you had Marcus trying to find Booby. Then you had Booby and Brooke making out and stuff like that. I mean, it was just a whole fucking mess. But Marcus takes it upon himself because of his long years of wisdom in a relationship to now decide that he's gonna go talk to Safari with Shekinah to help Safari get a little bit of perspective of what's going on. Safari, of course, starts painting the picture that he's the victim, talking about I'm in the house all the time and with my kids all the time, but I don't feel the need to broadcast it or put it on social media, but she's making me look like I'm a shit dad and I'm a shit person, I'm a shit husband, and this, and the third. And I said this before in my previous reviews. It is very difficult for you to get over somebody hurting you while you're pregnant. For example, I'm not saying this is hard, but my husband just stood here a minute ago. I was like, I'm about to do this video for this for you know, I'm just gonna get this video done. And he tells me, well, don't you want to go and do this, put makeup on and do all this extra shit? And I'm just like, yo, I just want to get this done, you know, and get this shit out here. He forgot that I'm 8 months pregnant. He forgot that I have extreme fatigue. He forgot that last night he was just having to massage my back because it was in pain. He forgot that I have carpal tunnel syndrome. In the morning, he has to actually put pressure on my wrist for me to be able to move my fingers. And he forgot that if I get up in here and go into the shower and sit there, by the time I'm done, I needed a 2-hour break. I go right to bed because I'm so fucking tired from everything I'm doing. I'm exhausted. I can't even breathe. So you're telling me to go here instead of presenting this video as my natural self. I already let y'all know that I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm doing the best I can, trying to give you guys some information. He, being a man, doesn't understand what I'm going through. So he just says some shit sometimes and doesn't know how much it hurts me. Now, I also understand I'm more emotional than normal. So for Erica to have this level of rage is what she has at this point, because when you're pregnant, you are literally at your most vulnerable. Why the fuck can't you cheat on me when I'm not pregnant and I look bomb as hell so I can go find somebody else? Why don't you argue with me when I'm at my best and I have the energy to fight back? Why would you pick when I'm looking like a fucking whale, big as hell, going through every other issue in the third for swollen feet, you know, swollen legs, in and out of labor and delivery for emergencies, my pelvic and my cartilage bone are like separating. They have me walking around with a walker in case of an emergency. They were almost gonna put me on a damn wheelchair. If you do something to me at this point in my life, I'm going to take it very seriously because you picked when I was at my weakest to pick on me. So for me, I can understand Erica's pain from that perspective. Like I said, I don't think Erica is an innocent person in everything, but just considering the fact that she's carrying your child, she's not carrying the next man's child, she's carrying your child. You should have been a little bit more sympathetic and more understanding because you don't know how that shit feels. And I had to tell my husband that. Because before I got the walker, I couldn't get up, and I didn't know that there was something called a pelvic symphysis separation, where I guess when the baby's making its way into your birth canal, your pelvis cartilage starts ripping apart to make space for your hips to be able to push him out if you're pushing. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't even move my fucking legs, just the top half. And he's helping me to the car, and this man has the nerve to tell me, I think you're being too dramatic, get in the fucking car. I almost cussed out. I was like, what the? I was like, shut the fuck, don't ever say some shit like that to me because you don't know what this shit feels like. He's like, well, they're probably just going to tell you that it's the baby being fine. When I went to the hospital, they told me that it's because I have cartilage separated, and that's when they gave me the fucking walker. So I'm like, you can't fathom what it's like. I can't be sitting up here doing my makeup and shit for y'all all the time. I will do my best when I have the energy for it, but it's a lot. It's a whole lot. So when they're talking to Marcus and talking to Safari, and Safari is doing this whole pity me thing, I'm like, Safari, just for once take responsibility for that part and just say that you weren't as present emotionally or physically as you should have been, and that you let her pregnancy hormones, as hard as it is, get to you to where you did some of the most fucked up shit you could do, because it's very difficult for somebody to forgive something like this. It's hard. Then as they're talking, the only person making sense is Shekinah, because Shekinah told him, yo, you keep getting mad when she yells because you're like, you don't know how much we're fighting. We're arguing till the cops came. Shekinah's like, well, she can't whoop your ass. So all she can do is whoop you with her words. So if her words are the only thing that she's doing, you need to just go ahead and take it. And Marcus says, yeah, you can't be feeling threatened when she yells at your ass. Like, if she's just screaming and cussing you out, you better just, don't leave and then don't go. If it's for somebody who has abandonment issues, don't just leave and then say, oh, I'm leaving because I'm trying to keep peace. And then your ass is at the club getting fucked or, getting grinded upon. And you come back saying, oh, I left because we're fighting. Take a 10-minute walk and walk your ass back into the house to your pregnant wife and calm her down. Like, why are you, Safari, you are not the victim. Stop. Then we have Shekinah and Marcus doing a little handshake, saying that they're going to try to get Safari and Erica back together by the time this reunion is over. In the meantime, Rich is in the corner waiting for Safari and Erica to break up so he can go tap that ass one more time. And while he's doing that, he asked Cisco, yo, did you fuck Amina? Cisco's like, yo, I didn't fuck her. Rich, I said, he's like, oh my God, he gossips like a female. Like he does. Because obviously if Cisco says, yeah, I fucked him, and he's going to take that news back to Peter. He's going to come up here and say, I want y'all to be friends afterwards. Rich, shut up. Then we have Brooke going over to Booby to question Booby about his flirtation with Sin. And she's doing it like, what's going on? And then Booby goes on the confessional and says, oh, Brooke is like that best friend that you have in your life that can ask you all these things. I'm like, this kind of best friend would never be best friends with my husband. She had her tongue in your mouth. Ain't no way in hell y'all have to be besties after that. You need to go. Brooke can never be the best friends with my husband. Hell no. We're not going to play this game, because all it is you guys are best friends and you're hybrid fucking in your head whenever you can, because you guys can't do it physically in person. Y'all already made out. Booby already told you that he wants to be with you. He already tried fighting Marcus to get to you. Ain't no way in hell y'all finna be sitting up here smiling in front of each other's face talking about your besties. The fuck out of here. Then we have Amina and Peter's funkified 70s unplanned, supposedly costume divorce party. This is what they all had, costumes, 70s costumes, and they're trying to give us the impression that the 70s themed divorce party was something that just happened for the reunion. And I'm like, did y'all sew your costumes in the middle of the night? Because y'all supposedly didn't know about this. Whatever, y'all planned this shit. So everybody came dressed in costumes. We had Peter showing up, and we had Zell, we had Jonathan, we had Bobby there, and Peter shows up and he's saying, Safari, when you come to these things, you're always the life of the party, you're always happy. I'm so happy that you don't let what's going on in your life bother you or affect your livelihood. And Safari breaks down again in front of the boys. And he's like, everything that's going on here is starting to weigh me down. He basically starts crying about how he feels like Eric is painting him as a shitty dad or a shitty person online, but he's not, that he was still there. And as he's talking, Peter's dumbass decides to go ahead and compare his circumstances with Safari's situation, talking about, I know how it feels when everybody on social media is attacking you. I stayed in my house for 2 months. My brother had to come get me out. I said, Peter, did you forget that you were with Tara for 13 plus years? You had 2 kids with her. She left you because you cheated on her repeatedly. You begged her to get back with you, and she's supporting your recording business. You told her Amina was your artist. She's sitting up in Amina's face. She's promoting your music and Amina's music. She's being supportive, and Amina's watching you give her a kiss, hold hands, only for her to find out later that you're not only fucking, but you married somebody that you had known for just over a year. And you didn't marry the one you knew for 13 years, got your 2 boys. You married somebody else for fucking green card. You embarrassed her on national television. And while you were still trying to get back in Tara's pants, you were still fucking and impregnating Amina with the first child. Then the second child you impregnated Amina with, you went back and made Amina get an abortion for it, or told her that you don't want another kid. So she chose to get an abortion. I'll be damned. And then you went and got Tara pregnant, and after getting Tara pregnant, Amina having her abortion, they show up at the reunion. Amina's pregnant with your 3rd child. Right after an abortion, you got 2 of them pregnant, and you got your daughter on the stand watching their father have 2 women knocked up at the same time. Are you want to sit up here and wonder why social media was talking about you so bad, or why Cardi B was going off and she kind of was going off, and you want to sit up here and compare that to what Safari is going? Safari is just immature. What you did, Peter the Cheater, was fucked up on so many levels. Ain't no way in hell I'm feeling sorry for your ass. Fuck out of here. There is no way I'm feeling sorry for you, because we all saw what you were telling Amina. She was crying. She was hurt. I didn't feel sorry for Amina because she got herself in this situation naively, but still, you were not the victim in that situation. It just wasn't. Did nobody say you were a shitty father, but they said you were a bad example of a father, because you were. Then we have Safari talking about how he was still there with Amina, with Erica when she was at the hospital, because Bobby asked him, did you leave, or Bobby or Jonathan said, did you leave Erica when she was at the hospital? Did you abandon her? And Safari said, no, I was there, so was my mom. The thing about it is, I remember that scene when Erica was talking about how she was in the hospital and Safari saying that he was there. Erica said Safari came for a few minutes. They started arguing because she was mad at him for what she was seeing online with him clubbing while she was in the hospital room. She wanted to talk to him about it because that was weighing on her. He didn't want to sit there and discuss it because he said he wants to avoid a fight. He stayed there for all a few minutes and bounced and just left her there, and then left her in a house for a few days by herself. So essentially, you may have been there in spirit or for a few seconds, but that doesn't count as you being there. If I'm pregnant and I'm in a hospital, the last time I went to labor and delivery, my husband drove me. I was in the hospital. His ass was in the car because of COVID, they didn't let him come and stay in unless they were admitting me. But he was in the car. And when I texted him and said, baby, I need food, he went and got me food and came back. When he needed to come get me from the walker with the wheelchair, he was on call. He was in there in that building. He stayed there all fucking day. He didn't just leave. So that's not you being present. If that's your interpretation of being present, it's not being present, because that's what happened when I was watching that scene. Am I wrong? Because I didn't see your mama and I didn't see you, and she said you were there for a few minutes and you left. And when Bambi told you to call your wife, you said why? So I can't feel sorry for you. I just can't. Then we have Mimi and Jonathan now talking off in the corner off to the side, and Mimi's explaining how she and her girlfriend were initially engaged, Ty, and then now they're not engaged, but they're very good friends, and how she's now seeing a therapist, and how she's trying to find peace, and she's hoping that when Stevie's dumbass shows up here, he doesn't ruin her joy or try to, put all this drama that he always comes with in her life. And Jonathan is talking about how he would like to be the same, however, he's still hurt. Because y'all remember last episode, Zell kind of went off on Jonathan as if Jonathan's gayness or Jonathan being gay was a factor of a problem. So he kept telling Jonathan that he was too gay. I'm like, what does it mean for somebody to be too gay? Or, if you're too lesbian, you're too much of a I don't understand what that means. And Jonathan, who has lived in this environment where it was a sin to a lot of people for being gay, it was something to be frowned upon. It was a lot of things people will make up and say, just like when it was bad to be black. So he went through that phase, found himself, and learned to love himself for who he is. He's 100% gay. That's who he is. And Zell, who's struggling with his sexual identity because now he wants to have a family. He wants a wife. He wants kids. And I'm gathering that there are a lot of people out there who are not comfortable trying to build a family with men who they feel like are also attracted to men. That could be something that's difficult for some women. I know that Amber was saying all that shit when she was in marriage boot camp, that she's not comfortable with being with a bisexual man because it's not something that she's just not comfortable with. At least she was honest. Maybe Zell is going through the same issues. So instead of just trying to figure it out, he's projecting his insecurities on other gay men who have worked so hard to love themselves, and it's affecting Jonathan because Jonathan is feeling some type of way now. Why would you tell me that I'm too gay? Would you like it if I tell you that you're too black? And Zell had made a comment last episode talking about, what you mean by am I too black? I can't change the fact that I'm black is my skin. I was born with it. Well, there are gay people out there that believe they can't change the fact that they're gay. Like, why would you even make that correlation? I mean, Jonathan just needs to understand that for now, until Zell finds his way or finds whatever it is that will make him happy or finds what he's looking for, it's best not to take whatever the hell he's saying seriously and just don't have conversations with him. Because Zell is making little comments like, it's almost like he's bashing other gay people for being themselves and for being happy because of whatever he's feeling inside is making him, maybe people are telling him you're too gay for me. And I don't know whether that hurts him so much he doesn't know how to deal with it, and he feels like, well, let me just attack other gay people because they're the ones making me look bad because they're too gay. That doesn't make any sense. Then we have Tara showing up to the support the whole divorce party sham. And I'm like, Tara, I don't know if I would call this growth. And I'll explain to you why. I don't know if I'll call this growth. If I met somebody like Amina in my life, and Amina had done what she did to my family, the way that she did it, as boldly as obliviously as she did it, I can forgive, but I cannot forget. I'm not going to sit here and kumbaya on your face. We can co-parent. I'll be respectful to you. You can come get the kids. I can give you the kids. But bitch, I'm about to be sitting up here going to your divorce party. Like, what the fuck? I don't know whether Tara is going because she wants to make sure it's official. That way, if she wants to get back to Peter, she can feel more comfortable doing it. But Tara, I don't think this is growth. I don't think that's just not growth to me. I don't see that that's growth. I don't think that I can ever, because there's a rule. Forgiveness is a gift you give somebody even if they don't deserve it. But that doesn't mean you forget what the person did to you, because if Amina did something like that in her spirit and Peter has something like that in this, they're never gonna change. If Amina was put in the right position again and she fell in love with a man in that sense, she'd probably do it again. So I don't, if Peter was not fucking with Tara, or if Peter was not in love with Tara too, I mean, he will still be married to him. So I don't think this is growth, girl. But she showed up. And then Amina and Peter's telling Amina how much he will always love her. And Amina is honestly saying, I love you, but not that same way. I'm just happy that we're able to co-parent in the way that a lot of people I know can't co-parent. And that's the only part I'm very proud of him for. Because a lot of co-parents, it's very hard once you've had sex with somebody. A lot of people get into their emotions and they assume that just because you don't want them, you don't want your kids. And a lot of females will try to withhold the children as a way to get back at the man. But the man may not want you, but he still wants his kids. So it's good to know that they're able to have Tara's kids, Amina's kids are able to commingle with each other as siblings, and they're able to communicate without all that animosity involved. That part is growth, but I'm not going to be attending your divorce fucking party. Then we have Safari State looking over the corner. Erica's sitting by herself and he wants to go and talk to her. And they're talking and Erica says, let's take the relationship off the table and just work on co-parenting because we might need a break. Safari starts crying, saying, I don't want to lose you. And I'm like, but you've been walking out on her this whole time. Are you sure you don't want to lose her? Because you haven't shown me. I mean, he just posted recently that he's single, having fun going into 2022. I mean, come on. Safari gives me, he confuses me. And Erica says, I don't know what I'm seeing. It seems genuine what he's saying, but shit, his actions speak completely differently. And Erica herself breaks down saying, I wanted to be with you forever. I wanted to have a family with you. Like, I wanted to really build this. What you're saying to me sounds good, but I don't know if I can trust that shit. And of course, Safari tells Erica that he loves her. And she's like, how do you know? And he's like, because I know how I feel, but you don't treat people that you love the way that you have done this, Safari. You just don't. Now I know Nicki Minaj left your ass. I mean, not that you picked a better person now, but I'm just saying. I understand it. Then we have Amina deciding that she wants to make a speech about finalizing her divorce after 5 years of stupidity. And she says that she loves how there's no bitterness between her and Peter. And they show Tara as she's giving that speech, and Tara's the only one not screaming. Everybody else is screaming and clapping hands. And Tara is just standing there, she's cheering with her drink and everything like that. But damn, girl, you're watching this shit and it just looks like a fucking joke. Because Shekinah got in the freaking confessional and said what I said. We're supposed to be coming together in a family union. Why the fuck are we having a divorce party? That's what I was thinking. Because it's just oh God, why? There's no need for all this to be broadcasted. The level of your stupidity is just reminding everybody what the hell we had to go through when y'all were on the show. And when we're sitting up here talking about, do we think, some people were like, Tara, you just deserve this. You keep getting yourself into it. People are like, Amina, you just deserve this. You keep going back to Peter. Then Peter's over here talking about, I really just want my family to be. It was just a mess. And we're sitting up here watching this shit on a family reunion years later. Why? It's dumb as hell. But Tara said if they're happy, then she's happy for them. Bitch, I'm not happy for you. You're better than me. I will hold that grudge. And I mean, I won't hold it forever, but I'll hold it enough to know that I wouldn't be pardoning with your ass or giving you hugs and kisses and shit. Then we have the next time that they show, they're going to have the sex charades party where Erica is going to be in somebody's face. She's going to be making out with a couple girls. And she brought up Mimi's sex tape. Mimi's ass said no. Mimi, why? We want to see you on that damn rod, okay? Then we have Cisco and Sin Sin talking to Rich about Cisco's behavior, saying that Cisco did not give her a record because she wouldn't sleep with him. Now, here's the thing about that. I'm not saying that Sin should have slept with Cisco for the record, but I do know that Cisco was flirting with Sin and Sin was flirting back with him. And I also know that in the industry, records are super expensive, okay? Unless you pay for the record yourself, or unless you pay for the studio time yourself, a lot of these people would be expecting you to give up something. So I don't know if Sin was flirting with Cisco and trying to be all nice and lovey-dovey because she wanted to use that as a way for him to dash or to give her the record without her having to put anything forward. And Rich did make this clear when he was trying to manage Amina that he was the one paying for studio time. He was the one paying for the records. These are his records. These are money that he's spending. What you gonna give me for it? I'm not saying ass is the solution because I'm not selling my ass for nobody. But I'm saying, did you pay for it? That's what I want to know. Did Sin pay for the record? Did you pay for the studio time? If you paid for all that shit and he still didn't give it to you because you didn't fuck him, then you have a right to be pissed off. But if you're expecting him to gift you something because of your personal issues, I know she said she had lost somebody in her life and it was really important to her. From what I saw, you were flirting with that man as if you wanted more, you know? So now, I just, that story seems a little bit off. There's some little things missing. And although I don't think she should have fucked him for that record, I still want more details. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Anyway, that was the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'm tired. I'm finna get ready to go to the store. Hopefully I come back and I can do what I need to do because I'm tired as hell. But you guys have a good rest of your day. Again, Happy New Year's. And I will see you next time.